Hi, this is your host Apil Bhartiya and welcome to TFiR Let's Talk. Today we have with us Sheena Blanco, Head of Customer Experience at Next DLP. Sheena, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's great to meet you, Swapnil.
It's my pleasure to host you here today. You recently was appointed as Head of Customer Experience, so we are going to talk about that role as well. But before we go there, tell us a bit about Next DLP. What do you folks do?
Well, Next DLP is a next-gen cloud-native data protection platform that delivers insider risk visibility and data loss prevention on the user endpoint, including local machine learning and AI-assisted reporting now as well. Not only is it an excellent product, but we also provide a very high standard of customer service proactively through our customer success managers, who are also skilled security analysts, and also reactively through our highly technical support team.
Excellent, thank you. When we look at data protection, of course, we can go to the traditional IT world where it makes a lot of sense. In the cloud native world, cloud centric world, cloud was seen as a magical place. Once you move to the cloud, all your problems are gone. So talk about the importance of data protection, data backup, data disaster recovery, data recovery. There are so many things because applications can come and go. That's what we talk about that in the cloud native world. But data is the most important asset there. So talk about the importance of data prevention in the context of cloud native.
So our application, our product is written to run in the cloud. So in other words, I've worked with a lot of customers who actually had their products hosted on their own premises. So we called this on-premise applications. There is a lot of resource and time required in maintaining servers that, to store your own data on premise. And they were having to spend a lot of time maintaining their servers and fixing problems and upgrading them, etc. So we've taken all of that away from the customer. And we host the server in our cloud, and we host the data there in very securely as well. So it's just taking that much resource overhead off the customer, and also of course the worry of making sure that it's up all the time. We cover 24-hour availability for our cloud as well.
How many customers, organizations today understand the importance of having a data protection kind of a strategy, because it's more or less like a parachute or airbag or other protection that we have in our life, and when something goes wrong we wish we had one.
I think it's interesting with data loss prevention because it's something that it's not the most popular of things. If we talk about antivirus, everybody loves a bit of antivirus. We all love to be protected from the viruses and malicious software running on our computers. But data loss prevention is different. It's all about the egress rather than the ingress. So what it actually does is it makes users think about what they're uploading to external servers, for example, or what they're sending out on their personal Gmail. And it's less popular because of that, because users feel a little bit more controlled. So it's more difficult for businesses to implement it because it requires a lot more user education about the benefits to the users themselves, which, I'm sure we all know the risks of uploading personal information to the internet are extremely high at the moment. But I think it's only once you've actually had a breach and had some very sensitive information uploaded to the internet where it can be exploited. I think that's when you really become aware of how much you need a DLP product running on your endpoints, basically for instant visibility, but also possibly to actually block that egress as well. But that's always a choice that businesses have to make. Security is always a compromise, right? Sometimes there is some inconvenience for users, but it is at the benefit of greater security.
Now let's talk about you. You were appointed as the head of customer experience. talk a bit about your own background a bit.
Well, I actually, I never intended to go into the world of computing and much less cybersecurity. I started out just as a language student, and then when I went to university, I had the opportunity to take a computing course, and that was the start of my love affair with computing, really. So once I graduated, I went into sustaining engineering for a little while, but I missed the buzz of customer interaction because I'd had a lot of smaller jobs working with customers prior to my degree. So I decided to join Oracle. I was actually going to join Oracle as a consulting engineer, but unfortunately, or fortunately, on my interview day, I was intercepted by a lovely lady who I'm still very good friends with, who persuaded me to join customer support. And actually, I think that was just the best thing for me. It provides so much variety. I could move around different products and become, expert in a particular product and then move on to a new challenge. Plus, it gave me exposure to multiple different customer accounts, multiple new problems to resolve every day, and experience working with some really, really large customers and seeing the challenges that they experience and overcome and helping them overcome them. So yeah, after about 17 years with Oracle, I decided to make a big change and move into the world of data loss prevention, taking on a role as a TAM and then a TAM manager with Digital Guardian. And from there, I have come to Next, which is actually, I think this team that I'm working with at the moment is really, really good. It's one of the best customer service teams I've ever worked with.
What exactly is the role of, lead or head of customer experience?
Well, basically, it's all things related to the customer experience. It's not just the post-sale experience, it's also the pre-sale experience. It's also improvement of the product. You need to improve communications within the company so that they are all aware of how we can improve the pre-sale, the post-sale process, how we can improve the product in line with customers' business requirements. So it covers all areas, really. And also it's all about advocacy, not only customer advocacy, but also employee advocacy. Because if you believe and love your product and believe in the company that you work for, when you're talking about it, you're also unconsciously selling it. So maybe you're going out to, you're going out to a party or something, and you're talking about the company that you work for and the product that you produce. Then you're also possibly engendering interest in the people that you talk to, so that they look deeper into the next product. So that's all of my job. And I think I already work for a very enthusiastic company, so I think my job is pretty easy at the moment, to be honest.
So you work, both the kind of external, which are like customers, and like learn, how you can either solve some other problem or for the improvement, and then you also work internal teams to bring that experience to them, or and vice versa. So how much interaction do you get, with the internal either developer teams who are working? I just want to understand, your involvement within the company itself.
It's high touch, actually. I have multiple meetings a week with engineering, with the different, not only with just to review existing open issues, but also with new features. I'm involved right from the start to give the customer perspective, also involved with engaging product with customers to talk to some candidate customers and get their feedback on design and research. So it's high touch with product, high touch with engineering, also with sales, because my team can help with the POC and proof of concept issues, anything or interaction. Many customers benefit from getting to know support teams before they become customers, because it reassures them that they're going to get a certain level of support after the sale, which is important to everybody, right? If you buy a product, you want to make sure that if you have any questions about it or any problems with it, you're going to get fast and effective support.
When we look at we can break it, into a, security, performance, data protection, disaster recovery. But if you look at overall from a business perspective, uh, what is the what is the role or importance of, of course, data protection? Because sometimes what happens is that there are a lot of things that may not reflect directly on KPIs or ROI, but they are critical to businesses. So I want to hear from you, because you interact with customers, how the holistic, view, the role that data protection plays in not only in keeping the brand and image of a company, because you really, I mean, that's the worst kind of news that can be, that you lost data, you lost, a lot of critical customer data. So talk about the importance of data protection from a business perspective. Does that question make sense?
It does. Well, data protection, I mean, that's the core the core value of the company is, of course, its people, but it's also what the people produce, right? It is your business, your actual product that you're producing. And everybody likes to think, and in most cases it's true, that they produce a unique product. It's unique in some way, even if it may have common features with another one. And it's that uniqueness that you need to protect. Right? You don't want people leaking the information about how the special way that you do things, or the particular details of your success to other places. And this is a very big risk, actually, with people leaving the company, because if people are leaving the company, they want to take the good things that they know to other companies, and you have to be very careful that they don't cross lines there and take something that shouldn't be leaving the company. So it's also about that kind of insider risk, especially in this day and age, when I'm sure you've seen this year, we've had a lot of reductions in force across many companies. And that's when this kind of visibility of user activity and unusual activity, which is part of our machine learning offering, can be highlighted at leadership level, so that they can investigate and make sure that nothing is leaving that shouldn't be. Let's put it that way.
Since we are talking about people, I also want to understand, when we look at data protection, is it all and more about just the tools and technologies, or it's also about culture, where you do feel that organizations, once again, you face customers, organizations should have a kind of cultural approach towards data as well?
Yeah, there should definitely be a culture in that, and it's important to educate the users, just as we're educating users all the time about things like phishing. You also need to educate them in the risks of losing business data. And this is something that has been traditionally a little bit more difficult to do, but we do provide ways to help businesses educate users with messages on screen and assistance in communicating particular strategies, like blocking attachment of unauthorized USB devices to the endpoint. So I think it's also very much dependent on the region, as I've had a lot of experience with supporting customers in different countries, and regions are also very specific, not only with their laws and their legal requirements, but also with sort of a culture of, oh, but we've always been allowed to do this. Why are you suddenly stopping us? Whereas other countries, employees are absolutely fine. Oh yes, we've never been permitted to do this, so we have no problem with you blocking that for us. So it depends always on the region as to how much education you're going to have to do, or whether you can just simply block it and just say, this is how it is.
Of course, we talked about tools, we talked about technologies. What advice do you have for companies so that they can build, not only very good data protection, but also very good customer experience for of course for their users.
My advice for companies is to remember that customers love a high touch. They want to know that you know them personally and that you understand their business and that you are going to be there when they need you. And also, more and more companies that I work with just would prefer to have a regular connection with the company, especially in terms of quarterly meetings and and it's quarterly business reviews, very much so. So it's a funny old world because we find that customer service in many businesses is becoming multi-layered, and you have to go through many layers, and then eventually you might get through to the person that you need, especially with the Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies. So it's just worth remembering that sometimes you can lose your way by making things very process driven and forget that the customer really just wants to speak to somebody to help them resolve their problem as quickly as possible. And that's what my aim is, just to keep the focus on the customer.
Sheena, thank you so much for taking time out today, and of course talk about your own journey and also this whole space market. Thanks for all those great insights, and I would love to chat with you folks again. Thank you.
Thank you.